that, Judge. But you kind of threw your boss on you kind of kept your boss out of the loop, which forget about the mob in terms of like following protocol. Eastern District, Southern District, like protocol, like walk us through that because I think there should be a greater appreciation for you having balls on that move. I'll be honest, Judge.
Yeah, I almost got fired. But so I talked to Bruce Mal, head of the Gambino squad. I asked him who knows. It's only the two people that Sammy reached out to, plus case agent George Gabriel, and then we decide to keep it among ourselves at least in the beginning. But I got to go to the judge and I'd go with the judge with a tape recorder and say, look, there's been an outreach. I'm going to do it. I'm just letting you know. And the judge said to me, who knows? And I said, just me and a couple of agents on the squad.
Yeah.
And he said, keep it that way. My concern, it's not like I didn't trust people on my team. I loved my Andy Maloney. Yeah. I loved chief assistant, Mary Jo. I had a trial. Yeah. I loved him. But look, if it leaked, if somebody just slipped and talking to Sammy, it would have been Armageddon.
Yep.
So I did it by myself and struck a tentative deal by myself, not fully appreciating that, our chief assistant, Mary Jo White, she's a heavy hitter, always has been.
Yep.
Came from a big firm where, the lower level people in the big firm don't sharpen their pencils without running by the partners.
Yep.
And when she found out that I struck this deal, she was very upset. And now that I understand what it's like to be in a big law firm.
Now you know. Yeah.
But I thought at the time I had the discretion to do this. If she were U.S. attorney, she told me she would have fired me. And thank goodness she wasn't U.S. attorney.
There you go. Now, like I said, I kind of like to cover like the business end of things. And that's a negotiation. Like people just think he raised his hand, go with your government, and that was it, right? So like walk us, what was your process to build trust? Give us kind of like your process after he was kind of teetering or decided to do it.
It's a great question. And this is not only the most dicey and complicated part of being a prosecutor, it's the most interesting. Because look, I'm meeting with him at a little dance, right? He wants to join Team America and get the benefit when he gets sentenced. If he pleads guilty and cooperates, I got to find out what he can do for us, right? Yeah. What he can testify to, not just against John Gotti. When I met him, I had the rest of the New York mob in mind because I already had a case against Gotti. So I got to find out how much he can help me and what baggage he brings to the witness stand because I got to sell his credibility. So I needed him to tell me about all his crimes, including crimes that he thinks I didn't know about at the time. And you know what? That doesn't come naturally to people to tell a prosecutor about crimes they think the prosecutor doesn't already know about. But he came in, Sammy's a smart guy.
Yeah.
He is now, he was then. He knew what was required. He came right in, told us, basically how many murders he had and told us about where they were in the Castellano, murder scene, about all the other crimes. So he was ready to deal, and we dealt. We had a negotiation.
Now, in fairness, there was some criticism, on that deal versus what he actually did. In retrospect, do you regret any parts of the deal, or do you still kind of stand firm on it?
Stand firm. And let me just do one thing that is insufficiently part of this conversation.
Yeah.
Sammy helped us convict almost 50 people.
Yeah.
And those people, had they unburdened themselves by telling us how many murders they had, like Sammy had to, I guarantee you they would have had a lot more murders than Gravano committed. Even more important, we put those guys in. And the number of bodies they would have had charged to their account in the future is very important. Those guys were killers. So look, reasonable people can differ about whether you give a deal to a guy